10. Snake on the loose. A snake freak, meaning an individual with way too many snakes, has come under fire from the reptile community on how he handles his animals. It all started when the snake collector accidentally let his zebra cobra get out of its cage and slither away into a North Carolina neighborhood. His name is Christopher Gifford, 21 years old. His deadly snake escaped in Raleigh and was on the loose for months. He was charged in August with 40 misdemeanors, all revolving around this one venomous snake's escape. The biggest issue with Gifford's snake is that it got out in November, but he didn't tell anyone until June when neighbors saw it outside his house. And this wasn't a python or a little garden snake, it was a zebra cobra. The zebra cobra is a native to Africa and can spit venom over 9 feet. If that venom gets in your eyes, it can cause your nervous system to shut down. And if it bites you, it's an almost certain death sentence. The people of Gifford had no idea this deadly animal was slinking around their houses all winter. It's just lucky that residents spotted this snake when they did and called animal services. It took professionals 2 days to capture the snake in late June, finally making the neighborhood safe once again. And if you're wondering how a 21-year-old got this kind of snake in the first place, just listen to this. North Carolina is one out of 3 states in the USA that allows exotic pet ownership. In North Carolina, you can purchase a venomous cobra on the internet for less than a used iPhone. 9. Murder in a pet shop. A man in the Detroit area has gotten into some serious trouble after a violent outburst in a pet shop. Not only should this man be barred for life from ever entering a pet store, but he needs a serious mental evaluation. According to the report from ABC News, Ali Shahade walked into the pet shop and stomped on a parakeet until it was dead. He's been arraigned on third-degree animal killing and thankfully ordered by the judge to undergo a psychological evaluation. He's also been banned from ever having a pet or any animal of any kind in his home. It all started when the police responded to a call of animal cruelty at the Allen Park Pet Shop and found the parakeet dead inside. The store owner said that Ali had purchased the bird previously. He came in that day angry and distraught, demanding a refund of $30 for the bird. He carried it inside a cardboard box. The pet shop owner was happy to give a refund as long as the man gave back the bird, which he clearly wasn't taking very good care of. But when the pet shop owner opened the box and looked at the bird, he saw that it had a bloody wing. The man then became furious, turned over the box so that the still living bird was flopping around on the floor, and he stomped on it before storming out of the shop. Sadly, the bird never recovered. 8. Too much barking. A woman in Florida couldn't handle her dog's barking and biting. If she didn't like barking and biting, she should have had the dog trained, or she shouldn't have gotten a dog in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. According to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, maintenance workers repairing an air conditioning unit at the house of this woman, named Margaret Kinsella, witnessed her take her chocolate Labrador out for a walk. When she returned, she took the dog directly into the bathroom. The maintenance workers then heard Margaret screaming and the dog making terrible noises of distress. This distressed the workers, who asked if she needed some help. She basically told them to mind their own business. But then a minute later, the screaming got so loud that one of the maintenance workers forced his way into the bathroom and saw the dog floating dead in the bathtub. Being a good person, the worker pushed past the woman and tried to get the dog out of the tub, but it was just too late. Margaret admitted that she drowned her own dog because she was tired of it barking and nipping at her all the time. Her other excuse was that she was dealing with anxiety and depression because her husband and father both died that year. According to the affidavit, she was frustrated and probably took out her pent-up anger on her innocent dog. She's since been arrested and is facing charges of aggravated animal cruelty. 7. death by sword. A teenager in Lake County was arrested by the police on charges of animal cruelty after he butchered the family dog with a sword. According to the sheriff's office, the 17-year-old, who has not been named, was reported by his mother and stepfather after he admitted what he did to the dog. The disturbed young man took the family pet, a retriever mix, and tied the animal to a tree in the backyard. He then used a sword to slash the dog repeatedly and stab the dog over and over again. When the police searched the house, they found a katana-like weapon covered in dog hair and dried blood. Sadly, the pet in this situation had no chance of survival. Deputies reported that the pet died in an inhumane and cruel manner, and that the boy left its body in the woods behind his house after he was done torturing it. According to the parents, the teen has shown a progression of violence, which has now caused the parents to be worried for their own safety as well as the other children and animals in the house. It's not really clear what will happen to this youngster. Aggravated animal cruelty isn't exactly a charge that will keep him locked up. He's obviously a terrible pet owner, but he also very well might be a serial killer in the making. 6. Hamster torture. Roosevelt James Johnson is the 34-year-old man who killed a child's pet hamster. The San Antonio man didn't only kill the hamster, he's been accused of torturing it during a domestic disturbance. From what the Animal Care Services Department has said, Roosevelt has a lengthy rap sheet. When he was taken into custody on October 20th, he was already wanted on multiple warrants. We don't know exactly what the argument was about inside the house, but we do know that at some point he grabbed the child's pet hamster and squeezed it in his hand until the animal was dead. This absolute sick monster crushed the hamster in his fist. The only good news here is that it looks like Roosevelt James Johnson is facing 25 years in prison, not for the charge of cruelty to a non-livestock animal, but because of charges of continuous family violence. He's also in trouble for repeatedly violating a protective order, being in possession of a firearm, and having controlled substances on him. His criminal history goes all the way back to 2006, but it would be the death of a hamster that finally gets this guy locked up for good. 5. Grilling the dog. An incredibly intoxicated man shot his dog and then cooked it. As hard as that is to believe, it's 100% true. Police in Bucks County, Pennsylvania responded to a call about a couch fire on somebody's front lawn. When the officers arrived, they found a man named Nikolay Lekyankikov sitting on the front of a burning couch, setting $100 bills on fire. He also had a gun sitting beside him in plain view, along with a charred corpse of an unknown animal inside the fire pit on a metal grill. The scene was pretty perplexing to the officers. After they questioned Nikolay, they learned the unknown animal was actually his dog. This terrible pet owner shot the animal in his room earlier that day, then decided to go out and cook him on the grill. Though so far as we know it, he didn't actually eat the dog, he only cooked it. In this case, the bad pet owner got everything that was coming to him. Because the police found so many bullet holes throughout the home, presumably from where he had shot at his dog, he was charged with discharging a firearm in an occupied structure. He was also charged with recklessly endangering others and aggravated cruelty to animals. He was thrown into jail with bail set at $1 million. What do you think should be the punishment for someone who kills their own dog and then grills it on a couch fire? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe before the end of the video. 4. The neighbor's cat. A man has gotten into some serious trouble for shooting and killing his neighbor's family pet. But we're not talking about a dog this time. It was actually a cat. The owner of the cat, Kale Allagood, lost her marbles when she looked outside to see her neighbor with a rifle and her cat dead. When she ran over and confronted the man who still had the rifle in his hands, all he said was that her cat was bothering his dog. Furious, Kale called the police. Investigators arrived at the home to investigate, soon learning that the neighbor, Jonathan Alexander Humphreys, shot and killed Kenny the cat, then tried to dispose of the evidence. After he shot the cat, he put its body in a fire pit and hid the collar, but Cale caught him before he could completely cover his tracks. In his defense, Humphreys claimed that he was walking his puppy when the cat hissed at it. Clearly, this man should not have a puppy if he can't even handle a cat. He threw a rock at the cat, but it didn't leave. So he went to his truck, got his rifle, and shot the cat from about 43 feet. He then walked up to the cat and shot it again at point-blank range. Humphreys was charged with animal cruelty, but released from police custody the same day. So far as we know, he still has his own puppy. Let's just hope he doesn't shoot that, too. 3. Walking the dog. In the Canadian province of Nova Scotia, a woman was walking her dog when it turned on her in the worst possible way. According to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the dog was a pit bull, with the woman being a resident of a rural community in the middle of pretty much nowhere. Her body was discovered in a ditch covered in blood by another girl walking her dog. The girl flagged down a car, they were able to phone the police, and the dog took off running. The cops put out an alert on Twitter for locals to be aware of a violent and dangerous animal. Then at 9:30 that night, a man named Mark Taylor found it running down the street. He had seen the reports and was worried that the animal might attack his grandchildren, so he ran the thing over and killed it. We can only guess at the relationship between the woman and her dog, but considering her very own dog viciously attacked and killed her in the middle of a daytime stroll, chances are she either didn't know what she was doing and shouldn't have had a dog in the first place, or was mean to the pit bull and, well, it did what pit bulls sometimes do. 2. A bad pet sitter. A woman's boss wanted her to watch her 2 dogs. There was a work emergency and she couldn't get a hold of a sitter in time and didn't want to leave her 2 dogs alone. But the unnamed employee didn't answer her phone, and so she didn't go over to watch them. This meant that the 2 dogs were home by themselves. One of them was a much larger dog with previous incidents of violence. It had previously ripped apart the boss's daughter's hamster and ruined its cage. When the boss came home, she found that the larger dog had killed the smaller dog. She then blamed her employee, saying it was her fault because she didn't answer her phone. This is obviously not the employee's fault, but rather the boss, who is a terrible dog owner. She left the 2 dogs alone, fully aware that the big one was violent, and it resulted in the smaller dog being mauled to death. And to make matters worse, the boss now has a vendetta against her employee. She's been rude to her ever since the incident, even low-key threatening to fire her. 1. Cornwall dog attack. Sadie Totterdell is a bad dog owner. She's also a nail technician and a friend of Frankie McCritchie's mom. Frankie was just 9 years old when Sadie's dog mauled the poor boy to death while he was alone with the animal in a caravan. His mother, Tawny Willis, was hanging out with Sadie in the adjacent caravan in Cornwall as the incident was unfolding at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sadie's dog, a 7-year-old bulldog-type monstrosity, had been left alone with the boy. This was despite the fact that the dog, named Winston, had allegedly been involved with at least 4 other attacks previous to this one. But sadly for the family of Frankie, this would be Winston's final attack. By the time paramedics arrived at the scene, the boy was unresponsive, ripped apart from the dog's vicious teeth. Realizing what her dog had done, Sadie took off. She caught a train to the nearby town of Plymouth, cleaned the blood off of herself in the toilet, and then was promptly arrested by officers waiting for her at the station. She was arrested on charges of having a dog dangerously out of control, as well as manslaughter for the boy's death. The dog remains in a kennel, as the police still haven't decided whether to put the dog down or not. We also don't know yet if Sadie will get jail time for letting her animal rip the child to pieces. What do you think the punishment should be for someone who kills their own pet? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe to help support the channel. Thanks for watching, and check out more awesome videos from us. See you next time. Bye.